When a regular citizen stumbles onto something ugly they can't fix, they run to the police. Like this girl, she spots a pack of thugs cornering another girl in an alley and reports it, quick as that. The cop she tells flashes a warm, friendly grin and says he's already on the case. She nods and walks off, but something cold coils in her gut. And her gut isn't wrong, because the man she just trusted is police, all right. A moldy, rotten cop, the kind that spoils the whole carton. The smile drops off his face like a mask hitting the floor. He stares dead ahead and mutters. Well then, time to clock out. The female officer beside him jolts, jabbing a finger at the alley right in front of them, where a gang's got a fragile girl surrounded. Let's move in, now, she urges. But the rotten one just pouts. Move in for what? See how many of them there are. 2 of us walk in, we do nothing. The exact scene that just got reported. She won't drop it. Then call for backup. He shrugs like none of it's his problem. Those punks'll get bored and wander off. Happens here all the time. Waste of energy. Then a new voice cuts clean through their little debate. Another cop, planted in front of the gang, telling them flat to let the girl go. The thug running things turns lazy eyes on the young officer. The hell is this? He sneers. The officer glares back, patience already gone. I said take your hand off her. The thug tosses the girl aside, steps up, and blows a lungful of cigarette smoke straight into his face. And what if I don't feel like it, he scoffs. The officer doesn't waste breath. He moves. One strike, teeth slammed together, mouth flooding red, pain rocketing up to the thug's skull like a signal on bad Wi-Fi. The cigarette drops from limp fingers. The officer watches him flop and writhe on the ground clutching his jaw, and his face doesn't so much as twitch, like he just flicked a fly off his sleeve. In the patrol car, the 2 cops sit slack-jawed. A cop dropping a thug that fast, before anyone could blink. Record-breaking response time. The officer flexes his hand, calm as a Sunday. Don't like it? Then you take the beating. What else is there? The gang's got numbers, and numbers always make trash think the world should tremble for them. They don't take this one seriously either. Knuckles cracking, mouths running filth, they all rush him at once, boss out front, pain conveniently forgotten. Forgotten, that is, until the officer's fist rearranges his face and reminds him all over again, his head snapping back like a busted spring. The 2 cops in the car have gone paler still, mouths hanging, breath run shallow. A handful of moves and the whole crew is floored. But the boss earns his title. Barely conscious, face and mouth a wet crimson mess, one tooth gone, he grinds his jaw and spits, "You're dead, you mutt. Today I kill you." And sure enough, when a man reaches into his shirt, what comes out is always a gun or a blade. For a 2-bit thug, it's a folding knife. The officer hears the threat and sneers. Kill me. You ever actually killed anyone, tough guy? The thug roars, fine, today's the day. He seizes the knife hand and leans in soft, a devil whispering in his ear. Nonsense. You've never taken a life. Your eyes rat you out. No fear on the officer at all. Can't kill. What are you? Then do it, the officer breathes. Dragging the blade toward his own heart. I told you. Kill me. The thug shakes, terror all over him. Each word lands like a hammer on the scumbag's paper-thin nerve. If you can't kill me, then you die. The thug nearly faints on the spot, cold sweat sheeting down his face. The dagger slips from his grip and rings off the pavement. He staggers backward, staring like he's watching something crawl out of hell. Who the hell are you? The officer calmly clamps a hand on his shoulder. The 2 cops outside forget to breathe, too stunned to remember they're meant to step in. He squeezes, veins bulging along his arm, crushing down until even the fabric wrinkles under the pressure. Who am I? I'm the one who drags trash like you in and wrings it out. I'm a police officer, he grins as the thug screams. Rewind about a week. In Chanport, late afternoon, the dock's dead and empty. A shadow slides up to a sealed blue container and, without a flicker of hesitation, hauls it open. Inside, a crew bristling with blades and every kind of sharp thing. Not clumsy street trash this time. These are the real article, killers. The newcomer looks them over, cold. Quite the crowd. This man is an assassin. They call him Bi-Gwang. The one running the pack is another assassin, Maple Leaf. He wipes down his sword and drawls, cutting it a little late, aren't you? This was the last job on the board, and they'd been waiting so long their necks had gone stiff. Bi-Gwang steps in, unbothered. A little late. Don't oversell it. He scans the room. Zero goodwill in any of those eyes. What kind of job even is this? Buddha told me to run it with you lot. Behind him, someone who'd been lurking dead silent lunges, both fists gripping an iron chain, aiming to loop it around his throat. The chain drops in front of his face. On pure instinct he snaps a hand up and catches it before it can bite closed. He spins, wrenches the chain tight, and drives a razor elbow into the attacker's neck. The man drops instantly, folding to the floor like a dumped sack of potatoes. The chain slides free, and now it belongs to Bi-Gwang. He grips it hard and growls, "The hell do you think you're doing?" Maple Leaf rises, walks over, slit eyes narrowing to nothing. He laughs. "Doing? I'm working." The assassins behind him start creeping forward, faces gone feral. "Working," Bi-Gwang echoes, not getting it yet. Maple Leaf's grin curdles into something a villain wears right before he meets his ancestors. "This is your dismissal ceremony, Bi-Gwang." The word barely lands before the whole pack floods in. Their fatal mistake, handing Bi-Gwang a weapon. His bare hands were already a death sentence. Now they've built him a stage. First one in, he whips both ends of the chain around the fool's neck, uses him as an anchor, and launches a knee straight through the ugly middle of his face. Right behind, another comes swinging an axe for his skull. The blade's maybe 3 centimeters out and he doesn't even bother to blink, just leans back on his right leg like a hinge and cracks his left into the axeman's throat, snapping the head sideways. Another rushes. This crew's only real talent is showing up in numbers, like leeches swarming a free buffet. Smooth as running water, Bi-Gwang flicks one end of the chain around a knife wielder, slips under the arm mid-stab. Circles to his back, and grabs the far end while the steel's already choking the life out of him. He pulls the chain tightly, finishing off the last attacker. Maple Leaf's smile is gone. It takes Bi-Gwang no time at all to level the pack of amateurs, hammering skulls till they leak. He grabs one guy leaking red from nose, mouth, and scalp. And slams him down with a wet thud. Then he turns to Maple Leaf, ice in his voice. "You planning to eat me with prep this week?" Maple Leaf spits a curse and reaches into his shirt, and like I said, when a man does that, a gun's about to make its entrance. Sure enough, out comes a pistol. "I hate guns," he says. "But this is Buddha's order. I'm to hand him a whole corpse. And a gun's the tool that finishes the job clean." Bi-Gwang's teeth grind, eyes gone bloodshot, face twisting with rage. He'd been promised this was the last one. After this, freedom. Why? Ask him in hell. Goodbye. Maple Leaf squeezes the trigger. Bi-Gwang throws himself forward like a man possessed, every ounce of his hatred behind it. The shot cracks. Blood sprays the concrete. And through the drifting gun smoke, the dull gold of a Buddha statue. The scene cuts to an ancient temple, incense smoke curling toward a golden Buddha. An old monk kneels before the statue, for sticks of incense still smoldering, and beneath them, a memorial tablet bearing the name Bi-Gwang. His phone buzzes. He checks it, unbothered. Is it done? Yes. All done. The voice on the other end freezes him solid, because it isn't the voice that was supposed to answer. Somewhere else, the man who should have made that call is lying in a spreading pool of his own blood. Bi-Gwang stands over Maple Leaf's corpse gripping the dead man's phone, murder in his eyes. "You son of a bitch." The old monk's tone doesn't so much as flicker, calm as fake compassion always is. He glances at the tablet sitting in the incense bowl. "I was just preparing your 49th day ritual. Fitting that you'd call in on your own memorial. Then, almost bored, come to the temple, if you dare." What the old snake really means is a welcoming committee of assassins already waiting to carve him up. Bi-Gwang doesn't blink. "Open the door." I'm already outside. You don't come out, I come in. He hurls the phone at the ground and tightens his grip on the dagger. He steps through the gate ignoring every blade pointed his way, one thought looping in his skull: that old bastard stole everything from him. A hulking meathead lurches into his path like a speed bump made of muscle. Bi-Gwang doesn't even grant him a full sentence. Buddha. The old fraud who steals children and forges them into killing machines. Murder for hire, that's your holy man. The thug says nothing, veins bulging as he hoists an axe overhead and brings it down like Judgment Day. Bi-Gwang gives him one cold glance, flicks the dagger, and slides past. A single slash opens the man's gut from hip to hip. Out of my way, trash. You're up next. He carves through the compound like a lawnmower through weeds, blood painting his clothes, his face a mask of pure, straining fury. This body, this life, Buddha built it from scratch just to gut it later. My body. He snatches a boy's wrist and buries the blade in his stomach. My life. The dagger opens another throat, blood arcing bright. And my family. A blade sinks into his own back mid-swing. The woman behind him freezes the instant she realizes what she's done. Bi-Gwang spins on her, eyes flooding red, a beast finally off its chain. When the smoke clears, every assassin in the courtyard is dead, and Bi-Gwang is bleeding from a dozen places. Staring down the black eye of Buddha's gun. You promised me, he rasps, dropping to his knees. I want to live after my final mission. You promised me a human life. One more job and I walk. You promised. And I'm keeping that promise. Buddha leans in close, almost gentle. The end of a human life is death. Buddha prepares to end the MC's life, but before that. A chant murmurs, Namo Amitba, like a lullaby for a killer. The shot cracks. Blood soaks the stone. Bi-Gwang's eyes fall shut, and even dying, he swears he'll claw his way back from hell for payback. A weak light seeps in first, shadows sharpening into shapes. 3 young cops stand over him, faces knotted with worry. He sits up and stares back at them, just as lost as they are. The hell's wrong with this guy, one mutters. The doctor's verdict, temporary amnesia. The only woman in the room panics. Kim Gyeongsoo, hey, snap out of it. He blinks. Who's Kim Gyeongsoo? That's you, obviously, she says as the other office hands him a mirror and badge. As we move close to the poster we see a man. Kim Gyeongsoo, a police officer. But the thing wearing that face, looking out through those eyes, is the blood-soaked ghost of a professional killer. He stares at the mirror, then the badge, hands shaking. What the hell? I died, and I'm awake. He slowly starts to realize what's happened to him. His face drains white. I'm a cop. Yes, the legendary Bi-Gwang, gutted by his own people, has clawed his way back into the world wearing a rookie's skin. Expecting to spend his second life plotting bloody payback. Instead, he's getting slapped around by a pair of dirtbags in uniform. 2 brother seniors working at the same station. Rewind to the moment he first woke and pieced the story together from the 3 officers hovering over him. This idiot, no, me, tried to hang himself. The woman lays it out furious. You're lucky the rope snapped. You were out cold a whole week. And you, genius, thought scribbling names in a suicide note would fix anything? He frowns. What names? The senior officers who've been grinding you down. Especially Hwang Cheo-min and Hwang Young-chun. Real garbage, both of them. And that's exactly how he walks straight back into a shakedown the second he clocks in. Hwang Cheo-min jabs a finger into his chest. Hey, Kim Gyeongsoo, your parents offed themselves after their little crime spree, didn't they? Following in the family footsteps. Hwang Young-chun chimes in from behind. Criminal's kid playing cop. If you're gonna die, at least do it quiet. Why drag our names into your note? What neither of these clowns knows is that the soul currently occupying Kim Gyeongsoo's body isn't Kim Gyeongsoo anymore. It's Bi-Gwang. He raises a hand, muscle memory of a bully about to reset the lesson. He locks eyes on his own reflection for a beat. What is this? Then quickly reaches up and clamps down on Hwang Cheo-min's wrist. You dare block me, the officer growls. His gaze drops to the female officer cowering on the floor. Hey, Jo Jong-hee. She flinches, forced to answer. Yes. Hwang Cheol-min sneers, this count as insubordination, right? Jo Jong-hee, eyes screwed shut, stammers, I'm down here, I can't see a thing. Oh, really? Hwang Young-chun steps in, reaching for her hair. Then let me help you see. His hand freezes mid-air, cut off by a low curse from Bi-Gwang. He turns. Bi-Gwang exhales, unimpressed. So this place is a dumpster fire too, huh? The hell did you just say to me? Hwang Cheol-min's face twists purple. But Bi-Gwang's done playing nice. He clamps down harder, and the man's arm looks one twist from snapping clean off. Blood drains from his face as he shakes and screams, unable to break free. Nobody breaks free once Bi-Gwang decides to hold on. Let go of me, right now, he wheezes through the pain. Bi-Gwang doesn't bother answering. 2 fingers drive straight into the pressure point on his neck. Eyes roll white, pupils shrink to pinpricks, and Hwang Cheol-min drops faster than anyone can track. Hwang Young-chun gapes at his crumpled partner, stammering, bro, just now that was. Before his whole view goes dark, blotted out by Bi-Gwang stepping in close. Bi-Gwang lifts his leg toward Hwang Young-chun's face, then drops it, gentle as you please, straight into his crotch. It hurts worse than anything his brother just ate. Hwang Young-chun crumples, screaming through tears and snot loud enough that people outside wince in second-hand agony. 2 senior officers, flattened in seconds. The 3 rookies stand frozen. What, you're mutinying against your superiors? Bi-Gwang just stares back, cold as a morgue drawer. The battered seniors limp straight to Chief Cho Junha to cry about it, and the old man slams his desk hard enough to rattle the walls, chewing Bi-Gwang out at full volume. Hwang Cheol-min, not knowing when to quit, tries to charge in again and gets held back by a coworker. Cho Junha slams the desk a second time. Get out. Brawling with your own seniors, you think a badge makes you untouchable. I'll make sure you never wear this uniform again. Out. Now. Golden evening light hangs over the station as Bi-Gwang steps outside, cap off. Muttering curses under his breath. Seriously, how are cops this rotten? He sits alone in the park, thinking back to when he was leaving the office. The female officer yells Kim Gyeongsoo's name. What? It was just self-defense, he says while Jo Jong-hee and the other 2 catch up. Do you even know who that senior's father is? Deputy Assistant Commissioner. The man's got a whole Taegukgi Manhwa on his collar. So, please, get home safe. We'll miss you, as all 3 officers nervously wave Kim goodbye. Alone on the bench, staring up at the sky, he mutters, that's exactly why scum like that never gets caught. Rotten straight through, and daddy's got a general star to hide behind. Should have been reborn as a captain at least. The kid, still nearby, hasn't stopped whispering. Mom, what's a cop? He sighs. And here I am, an outsider even in my own organization. He stares down at the cap in his hands, and old memories surface uninvited. Back then, he was just a starving kid in rags, nothing left of him but bones and bruises. And then a hand reached down. Hey, kid. Want to come with me? That child had no idea that single choice would drag him into a life he'd spend years learning to hate. Assassin Bi-Gwang, hands soaked in blood he stopped counting a long time ago. Watching bodies drop under his blade one after another. And then, one bright afternoon, Buddha showed up smiling wide and put a gun to his skull. May the merciful Buddha save us all, he'd said, right before the trigger went back. In the same breath, memory bleeds forward, Kim Gyeongsoo, hanging by a rope of his own tying, ending it. As we snap back to the present. Bi-Gwang stares at the tie coiled in his hand like a noose and glances at the photo of the boy's family on the table. Kim Gyeongsoo, abandoned by parents, abandoned by the system, left alone to die. Well. At least he and I have that much in common. He looks toward the door, shall I, he says. Cut to Gyeonggi Province, west side of police headquarters. In his office, Senior Officer Hong Jun stares down a file stamped rejected in red ink. His proposal to clean out Wagik Temple, shot down before it could breathe. A voice rises behind him. Long time no see. Still keeping busy, I hope. Hong Jun freezes. Spins toward the intruder. And finds the sharp tip of a ballpoint pen pressed to his throat, pinning him in place. Shall we talk? The man asks, calm as still water. Hong Jun eyes the pen, swallows hard. Who are you? Bi-Gwang. Silence thick enough to choke on. After a long beat, Hong Jun mutters, ah. Then, somehow, the conversation just continues, civil as a coffee chat. Hong Jun studies him, one eyebrow arched. Impossible. You're Bi-Gwang. You died. Now you're telling me you got reborn as a cop. If you were me, would you buy this story? Bi-Gwang shrugs. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm threatening you. He even smiles while he says it. Hong Jun clicks his tongue. This damn kid. Bi-Gwang leans in, voice dropping to something almost conspiratorial. Mr. Hong. I'm going to help you get Wagik Temple. Hong Jun freezes solid, staring, waiting for a punchline that never comes. His expression sours by the second. Who exactly are you? Hong Jun asks. I already told you. Bi-Gwang. Kim says as Hong Jun fumbles for the call button, keeping his face level while stalling. This isn't the place to discuss Wagik Temple. No response comes through the radio. Dead silence. Hong Jun stares at it in growing horror while killing intent floods the room off the man across from him. I already told you, Bi-Gwang repeats, patience thinning. I'm not asking for anything, he exclaims. We cut to the hallways where officers should be working. And we see that sneaking into a room quietly was never Bi-Gwang's style. He'd flattened every officer in the lobby on the way in instead. He plants a hand on the desk, leaning in. I am threatening you. That, finally, forces Hong Jun to reconsider, though he still can't fully swallow it. That, finally, forces Hong Jun to reconsider, though he still can't fully swallow it. Who are you? Bi-Gwang's patience snaps. I am Bi-Gwang. Hong Jun surges up, slamming the desk. Ridiculous. Bi-Gwang cuts him dead. 3 years ago. You made me a promise. The memory, 3 years back, pouring rain. Hong Jun, then a chief hunting Buddha at Wagik Temple, takes a hit and goes down hard. Standing over him, an assassin in the organization's mask, umbrella in hand. He steps closer, slow. I am Bi-Gwang. Hong Jun, barely conscious, manages, you're from Wagik Temple. I heard you got closer to Buddha than anyone ever has. Buddha asked to pass along his regards. A hidden switch on the umbrella handle, and the tip splits open into a needle, leveled at Hong Jun's face. He doesn't care for old men. Hong Jun begs Bi-Gwang to spare him. Bi-Gwang, ice cold, you want to live. He peels off his own mask. Then promise me this, within 3 years, you catch that bastard. I'll make something up to report to him. Hong Jun, stunned. Why? Aren't you two from the same organization? You like monks? Bi-Gwang asks, already sliding the mask back on. Well, I don't like them at all. I hate men with no hair. Back in the present, having dragged that old promise into the light, Bi-Gwang strips off his cap and coat. You promised me that. And you never kept your word, did you? His eyes drop to the twin hibiscus flowers pinned to Hong Jun's collar. 3 years, and you climbed the ranks fast, huh? Word-keeping wasn't the priority, climbing was. He pulls a ballpoint pen from his pocket, voice gone flat. Then you die. For one heartbeat, Hong Jun feels like he's staring at the real Bi-Gwang, and a chill rips down his spine. He stumbles back, protesting fast. It's not that I didn't keep it, I couldn't. You know why I climbed? The higher you go, the more intel flows through you. I've reported Wagik Temple, the whole assassination network, even Buddha himself, more than once. An organized group of assassins, says one of the brass members. So the monk Buddha is the boss of the whole organization. Hong, you've been reading too many comics. Wagik Temple is a national heritage site. Most of the brass just laughed in his face. He'd pushed anyway, according to our team's own investigation. Only to be cut dead by the highest-ranking man in the room. Do that, and heaven itself will punish you. Hong Jun still remembers the fear that put in him. The room went silent, just the chief's voice hanging in the air. Religion isn't something you meddle with. Translation: powerful people were standing in the way, and they weren't going to move. Bi-Gwang frowns, watching Hong Jun dig up his files and drop them on the desk. Read it. My team worked hard on this. He flips through, tosses both folders back down, and leans back with a sigh. Sloppy work like this gets shut down the second it hits someone with real rank. But you did your job. So, for now, I'll let you live. Hong Jun exhales in relief, his nerves have been shredded this whole conversation. Then Bi-Gwang's face goes dark again. Don't relax yet. I said for now. 1 second a threat, the next a blinding smile. From here on, I'll make sure you don't die. He gives a crisp mock salute. I'll count on your help, Mr. Hong. Chief. Hong sits there confused. The next day, another fine morning at Ilsan police station. Rookies grinding away at their desks like usual. Until the door slams open hard enough to shatter the peace. Zhou Zhonghui and Wang Hejin bolt upright, eyes on the door. Bi-Gwang strolls in, same arrogant face as always. Morning. They close in, nervous. What's going on? Kim Gyeongsoo, weren't you fired? The racket drags the captain out of his office. He kicks his own door open, roaring, what the hell is going on out here? He spots Kim Gyeongsoo in the office and is shocked to see him. Kim Gyeongsoo, he says confused. He storms up, jabs a finger in Bi-Gwang's face. You punk, I told you not to come back. Kim responds by asking, where are my seniors? The captain tells him that they are on sick leave, and as his teeth grind he tells Kim Gyeongsoo to get lost. Before he can finish, a second figure steps in behind Bi-Gwang, unhurried. All 3 officers freeze solid, the captain especially. Face draining white like he just swallowed a hot coal. He stammers, CH chief. Zhou Zhonghui and Wang Hejin snap to attention on instinct, while the bully who'd been chewing Bi-Gwang out a second ago goes ghost pale, caught red-handed in front of the top brass. Hong Jun clears his throat, drapes an arm around Bi-Gwang, and forces a smile. Our Kim Gyeongsoo's here to work. So what exactly was going on just now? The captain's whole body shakes. What's the relationship between Officer Kim Gyeongsoo and the chief? Our Kim Gyeongsoo, the captain squeaks. That's awfully friendly, chief. Hong Jun pats Bi-Gwang's head awkwardly, and the man just grins along like an obedient puppy. Officer Kim Gyeongsoo saved my life, Hong Jun says, deadpan. So take good care of him. Bi-Gwang smirks and returns a salute like absolutely nothing happened and tells Hong Jun goodbye. Later, park bench, sun on their faces. Bi-Gwang leans back, staring at the sky, grinning wide. Connections sure feel nice, huh? Hong Jun takes a drag off his cigarette. That everything you needed? One more thing, Bi-Gwang says. I need another favor. That night, a perfect full moon hangs over Wagik Temple, the grounds quiet the way they always look, like nothing's wrong. Inside the main hall, Buddha kneels on a cushion, knocking a wooden fish in slow, even beats, the sound rolling through the empty room. In front of him, the incense burner still holds Bi-Gwang's memorial tablet. The knocking stalters. Buddha's head turns toward the doorway, toward a shadow standing there. Who is it? The figure steps inside without hurrying. What am I? Someone who can't let go of his hatred. Someone who's lost all reason. Buddha's face goes rigid, staring like he can't trust his own eyes. Of course it's him, Bi-Gwang, masked, voice ice flat. I'm the ghost of Bi-Gwang. Buddha doesn't waste a second deciding. He spins, yanks 4 incense sticks from the burner, and flicks his wrist. For sharpened spike streak toward Bi-Gwang's throat. He barely tilts his head. As he dodges the spikes thrown at him. They bury themselves in the wooden pillar behind him, still smoking. He plucks them out one by one, tosses them to the floor. A monk shouldn't stain his own temple with blood. Then who are you? Buddha asks. Didn't I already say? The ghost of Bi-Gwang. The old man's fingers snap. Bodies emerge from behind the cabinets, the assassins he always keeps stashed in the shadows of his own temple. Then let's help you find enlightenment.
At Wagak Temple, a masked intruder stood between Buddha and a wall of guards. Buddha remained composed before the temple's glowing altar. The first guard lunged at the masked fighter from close range. The intruder answered with a forceful kick to the attacker's head. A knife spun free during the clash. The masked fighter intercepted the blade and brought it under his control. He sent another attacker flying across the wooden floor. A new guard charged with an axe raised overhead. The axe wielder realized his attack had already been read. The masked fighter tore through the surrounding guards with relentless speed. One guard was hurled backward into the men behind him. Only a few shaken guards remained in front of Buddha. For the first time, surprise reached Buddha's eyes. The masked fighter stood over the fallen men with his knife still ready. The fighter was Kim Gyeongsoo, carrying Bi-Gwang's identity behind the mask. The remaining assassins prepared to charge again while Buddha watched from behind. But Buddha stopped them before his remaining men threw their lives away. A sharp electronic click sounded inside Gyeongsoo's mask. His hidden camera feed broke apart into heavy static. The interference came from Orchid's jammer, leaving Gyeongsoo without usable evidence. With the recording ruined, he decided this visit would serve as a warning. Buddha faced him calmly, despite the destruction around them. The bodies at his feet made his warning impossible to dismiss. Gyeongsoo raised his knife and warned of more vengeful spirits. Buddha waved his remaining guards back and took control of the confrontation. He abandoned open force and addressed Gyeongsoo with calculated calm. The false warmth in Buddha's invitation stirred Gyeongsoo's old disgust. Beneath the guardian statue, Buddha beckoned him closer to reveal his face. Gyeongsoo refused, saying Buddha would learn his identity when the time came. He still needed time to strengthen this borrowed body before their final reckoning. Buddha suddenly lunged straight for Gyeongsoo's face. His fingers caught the edge of the mask and began pulling it away. Gyeongsoo triggered a tear gas grenade between them at point-blank range. The surviving guards covered their faces as gas flooded the hall. By then, the intruder had escaped through the doorway into the night. Buddha discovered that the only thing left in his hand was the discarded mask. Beyond the open doors, the masked intruder had already vanished into the night. Buddha gripped the abandoned mask as the smoke began to clear. He crushed it in fury, unaware the hidden camera was left inside. Among the fallen guards, Buddha turned toward Bi-Gwang's spirit tablet and the last burning incense. Watching the flame, Buddha muttered that a vengeful soul had returned. A Gwang-marked card beside the incense confirmed the identity of Buddha's returning enemy. By the next morning, the violence had given way to a peaceful public park. Hong looked haggard, as if one night of Gyeongsoo's chaos had aged him years. Gyeongsoo and Hong faced each other beside a park bench. Hong had spent the night cleaning up the station break-in Gyeongsoo left behind. He also smuggled out the police tear gas grenade Gyeongsoo used at the temple. Gyeongsoo said Hong would not face this trouble if Buddha had been arrested earlier. Hong snapped that taking down a figure like Buddha was not that simple. He explained that police needed evidence and prosecutors before an arrest could hold. Gyeongsoo could not understand why catching a criminal required so much procedure. Gyeongsoo insisted he never killed recklessly. Only people he believed deserved it. He pointed to Hong as proof that he could choose not to kill. Hong answered that nobody had the right to execute another person. Gyeongsoo asked whether the law had ever brought Buddha before a court. Hong replied that suspects remained innocent until solid evidence proved otherwise. Gyeongsoo finally cut him off, dismissing the repeated demand for evidence. To him, the entire legal process sounded like nonsense. He started considering a team of his own instead of waiting on the system. Hong objected that a rookie could not form a squad, but Gyeongsoo called himself the strongest. Hong explained that rank determined everything inside the police force. Gyeongsoo asked what rank he must reach before commanding a team. Hong answered that he needed at least a Mogungwa badge. Gyeongsoo immediately decided he would earn the promotion quickly. Hong folded his arms and warned the reckless rookie to stop causing chaos. When Hong opened his eyes, Gyeongsoo had already vanished. That night, Gyeongsoo reported for duty at Ilsan police station. He went straight to Jo Jong-wi and asked how to get promoted. Wang Ki-jun left a drunk civilian with Gyeongsoo while handling another task. The woman clung to Gyeongsoo, but he kept pressing Joe about the exam. She screamed into his ear and demanded more alcohol. Out of patience, Gyeongsoo knocked her unconscious with a chop to the neck. He covered her with a blanket, then calmly resumed questioning Joe. Joe told him to forget it. A rookie normally needed at least 10 years to reach Mugunghwa. Gyeongsoo asked whether a chief inspector's backing could speed up his promotion. Joe admitted she envied his backing, but even he had to pass the promotion exam. With the usual route blocked, Gyeongsoo pressed Joe for another way. Joe finally revealed one exception. A strong arrest record could earn him a special promotion. Joe added that rookies normally followed orders and handled civilian complaints. Right on cue, Joe was called away to handle one. When Joe returned, Gyeongsoo had already run off with the answer he needed. He headed straight for a bustling nightlife street. Couples and late-night crowds filled the neon-lit district. Nearby, thugs were already brawling outside a doorway. Passers-by stopped when they noticed an officer standing among them. Even affectionate couples pulled apart under the officer's gaze. The men fighting nearby froze when they noticed him. Gyeongsoo remained in full uniform, making himself impossible to ignore. Gyeongsoo resolved to work hard catching criminals from now on. This street looked like the perfect place to earn the special promotion he wanted. Under an oversized coat, Gyeongsoo enters the packed nightclub, searching for a felony worthy of promotion. He studies one table, knowing 1 in 3 Koreans statistically has a criminal record. That means someone among those smiling patrons has already broken the law. Some records may be minor, hardly the career-making quarry he needs tonight. Still, even a minor history gives Gyeongsoo a lead worth testing. Surrounded by dancers, he dismisses petty offenses and keeps scanning. His target must be serious enough to advance his police career. A flirtatious table catches his attention, though not for the obvious reason. He is hunting the kind of serious crime he once committed without hesitation. Gyeongsoo's gaze sharpens as old criminal instincts guide his search. Across the crowd, he spots a covert exchange. A dealer slips a galaxy-patterned patch to a patron. The strange patch is instantly familiar to Gyeongsoo. Recognizing the heavy criminal holding it, Gyeongsoo knows he has found his quarry. With a cold smile, he marks the dealer as tonight's target. The club keeps pulsing, unaware a bust is coming. Then the DJ abruptly kills the music at his turntable. Confused dancers face the booth as silence falls. The DJ mocks the stiff crowd and demands more energy. One eager woman suggests champagne would revive the mood. Her twitching excitement reveals a crowd already desperate for another fix. Grinning at their enthusiasm, the DJ decides to indulge them. 3 women obediently open their mouths. The DJ produces 3 of the pattern patches. Nearby men lean forward, equally eager for their share. Champagne and drug patches rain across the dance floor. The DJ cheers for a party with no tomorrow. Gyeongsoo coldly cuts through the celebration. Every head turns toward the lone interruption. He rejects the DJ's promise of no tomorrow. Holding up a patch, Gyeongsoo gives that slogan a harsher meaning. By morning, he warns, everyone involved will be in jail. The crowd stares as his accusation lands. Patrons finally realize the party favors maybe illegal drugs. Panic spreads as they examine the patches in their hands. The furious DJ demands to know who ruined his party. When challenged, Gyeongsoo calmly reaches for his coat zipper. He opens it to reveal the police uniform hidden underneath. The DJ and his guard panic at the officer in their midst. A bottle smashes into the distracted guard's face before he can react. Gyeongsoo says they can continue their conversation inside prison. Cursing, the DJ immediately bolts for the back rooms. His guards scramble after him while Gyeongsoo launches into pursuit. The fleeing DJ warns the back room to pack everything and run. A staffer pushes a cart stacked with drugs as the alarm reaches him. Gyeongsoo sends one fleeing guard crashing into the cart. His next kick drops the stunned staffer beside the contraband. Leaving both men down, Gyeongsoo continues after the DJ. At the exit, a guard desperately yanks the handle. The impatient DJ screams at him to open the door. But a chair wedged outside keeps the exit sealed. No matter how they pull, the blocked door refuses to move. Gyeongsoo approaches the trapped crew from behind. He asks whether they are playing cops and robbers with him. Stunned, the DJ asks whether Gyeongsoo came alone. Gyeongsoo stands his ground and confirms that he did. Realizing he fled from one officer, the DJ's fear turns manic. He calls his 2 guards forward to correct that humiliation. Gyeongsoo watches their answer without a trace of alarm. The guards pull out a more dangerous set of red patches. Each man slaps a red patch onto his neck. The stimulants swell their bodies and drive them into a frenzy. Gyeongsoo studies the transformation with genuine fascination. Behind his enhanced guards, the DJ boasts that the officer is finished. Before the drugs can matter, Gyeongsoo drives a fist into the first guard. The enhanced guard flies backward, his promised advantage erased in one blow. Gyeongsoo tells the remaining brute not to scream like that. The first guard writhes on the floor, bloodied by the effortless strike. Gyeongsoo demonstrates that real screams come from pain. The DJ can only watch as Gyeongsoo dismantles his protection. With every guard broken, the terrified DJ sinks to the floor. Cornered, he searches desperately for a way to bargain with the officer. With his enhanced guards beaten, the DJ begs Gyeongsoo to settle this with words. Panicking, the DJ offers Gyeongsoo anything he wants. Gyeongsoo makes him confirm that the offer is real. The DJ desperately offers drugs, women, or money. Instead, Gyeongsoo names the only reward he wants, a special promotion. Gyeongsoo reaches for the stunned dealer, already treating the promotion as his. The next day, news breaks that police raided a drug trafficking ring operating across 20 Ilsan clubs. The broadcast warns that the case has shaken South Korea's claim to be drug-free. Hong Joon ends the report and congratulates Senior Officer Kim Gyeongsoo. Now wearing his new rank, Gyeongsoo gives Hong Joon an awkwardly modest thanks. Hong Joon scolds him for abandoning his assignment, but Gyeongsoo notes he is no longer a rookie. Gyeongsoo cuts him off by sliding a folded packet across the desk. Hong Joon studies the neatly folded leaf packet and asks what it is. Gyeongsoo explains that the packet was hidden inside a safe at the crime scene. Hong Joon erupts when he realizes Gyeongsoo removed evidence from the crime scene. Gyeongsoo opens it, revealing phoenix leaf, the material used to make the hallucinogenic patches. Meanwhile, a chicken-masked enforcer readies another drug patch inside Phoenix's hideout. Their kneeling victim is already suffering beneath 2 patches. The victim pleads that he is only an underling, but Phoenix refuses to listen. Phoenix orders her enforcers to apply another patch. The terrified man pleads again, but the dose proceeds. A 3rd patch is pressed onto him, triggering a violent reaction. The new dose makes his body swell uncontrollably. The victim bursts, spraying the hideout while Phoenix watches without flinching. Unmoved by the death at her feet, Phoenix remains seated before the mutilated body. Her enforcers remove the corpse while Phoenix checks her phone. She notes that Bi-Gwang is dead and Maple Leaf has been caught. Phoenix refuses to become the next failure and searches for someone else to blame. The profile identifies Senior Officer Kim Gyeongsoo as the policeman who ruined the ring. Phoenix decides to eliminate Gyeongsoo before his investigation can reach her. Her identity is Oguksa assassin November Polonia, known as Phoenix, the drug ring's mastermind. Before dawn, Gyeongsoo begins another punishing workout in his new body. Sweat pours as he tests his inherited strength, endurance, flexibility, and reflexes. The inherited body balances strength, endurance, flexibility, and reflexes remarkably well. Yet it still lacks the power needed to destroy Buddha and Haguksa Temple. He pushes through another handstand, testing the body's limit. Even at full strength, this body remains outmatched by Buddha and the Haguksa assassins. His fingers finally slip against the floor. Gyeongsoo crashes onto the floor before finishing the exercise. Left panting in his own sweat, he admits that this body needs more time. At Ilsan police station, his 3 former rookie peers greet him with suspicious enthusiasm. Their attitude has reversed completely since his special promotion. They draw Senior Officer Kim Gyeongsoo outside for a private conversation. Seated before them, he asks whether they want promotions too. All 3 answer yes, with barely contained excitement. Gyeongsoo cannot understand why their ambitions have become his problem. Jo Jong-hui bluntly says his powerful backing could lift them as well. Hwang Hee-jun quickly restrains Jo before her honesty ruins the pitch. He promises that the rookies will support Gyeongsoo whenever needed. Lee Sang-han eagerly volunteers them as his personal workhorses. Their sudden devotion only leaves Gyeongsoo more confused. Jo insists they have always treated him well. She even cites the hospital visit as proof of their loyalty. Sang-in places a friendly hand on him and invokes their bond as colleagues. That single word drags Gyeongsoo into a far uglier memory. Years earlier, rain smothers Akwaguksa Temple in a cold gray silence. Bi-Gwang stands guard beneath his familiar black umbrella. Other masked assassins approach with resentment already simmering. They challenge his authority to decide who deserves death. Their jealousy sharpens around Buddha's chosen assassin. 2 assassins openly question why Bi-Gwang is considered their best. Phoenix joins them, bringing her own hostility toward him. Bi-Gwang watches without offering the conversation they want. He recognizes them, but refuses to indulge their grievance. Together, they condemn the special treatment Buddha grants him. The resentment closes around Bi-Gwang from every side. Phoenix removes her mask, exposing a face marked by drugs and fury. Back in the present, the rookies still wait for Gyeongsoo to accept their friendship. Jo keeps pressing their claim with stubborn confidence. Gyeongsoo finally rejects the idea that they are colleagues at all. His 3-diamond rank now places him above their 2. Jo explodes at the insult and challenges him to fight. Hee-jun and Sang-han hold her back before she reaches him. The station chief arrives just as the argument peaks. The 3 rookies snap to attention while Gyeongsoo offers a lazy seated salute. The chief demands to know why they abandoned their assignments. Their excuse about taking a break earns immediate contempt. He marches toward the group, ready to make an example of them. Then he sees Gyeongsoo, and his anger turns into shameless affection. The chief fusses over the station's newly promoted lucky charm. When Gyeongsoo mentions a sore shoulder, the chief begins massaging it himself. He even warns Gyeongsoo not to overwork, sparing him every criticism. The rookies can only stare at the favoritism in disbelief. Elsewhere outside the station, 2 corrupt senior officers carry their own resentment. Hwang Young-chun leaves in a fury over Gyeongsoo's sudden rise. Hwang Cheol-min follows, trying to keep his partner under control. Young-chun rages over Gyeongsoo's backing and special promotion. Cheol-min warns that anger will only send him back to the hospital. Young-chun refuses to believe the station now revolves around their former junior. A woman carrying a large paper bag interrupts their complaints. She approaches the officers with the composure of an ordinary civilian. Already furious, Young-chun dismisses her and tells her to use her phone. Cheol-min stops him and orders him to look at her properly. The stranger is Phoenix, hidden behind a harmless civilian appearance. Her beauty immediately dismantles the senior's hostility. Both men flush, suddenly eager to be helpful. Phoenix calmly explains that her phone has died. Seeing her up close leaves the corrupt officers nearly speechless. Their bad mood disappears as they crowd forward to assist her. Phoenix asks for directions while keeping her true purpose hidden. The seniors readily offer their help, unaware of the assassin before them. She names Ilsan Police Station as her destination. Cheol-min calls it a coincidence and offers to escort her there. Phoenix thanks them sweetly, keeping both men completely at ease. As they walk, she asks whether they know Officer Kim Gyeongsoo. Their smiles freeze when she explains that Gyeongsoo holds something belonging to her. Relieved she is not his girlfriend, the seniors laugh off their suspicion. Phoenix claims her father will punish her if she fails to recover the item. She rewards their cooperation by offering a gukwa cake for the road. The pastry looks harmless, but its dark filling carries her preferred weapon. Within Hagukusa, Phoenix is notoriously known for her drug-fueled instability. Her poisons come in escalating stages, including the stolen Buddha's tears. Buddha's tears is her highest-grade mixture, and failure means facing Buddha's wrath. The Ilsan station door swings open before the waiting officers inside. Inside, Gyeongsoo is still enjoying the rookie's service when the door opens. Phoenix enters casually, chewing one of the same gukwa cakes. Outside, the 2 senior officers collapse as the poisoned snack takes effect. The poison is harmless to Phoenix, who finishes another bite without concern. She crosses the lobby while every officer turns toward the unexpected visitor. Gyeongsoo recognizes Phoenix's familiar face the instant he sees her. Still chewing, Phoenix grins and announces that she has found him. The station door closes as Phoenix enters and approaches Gyeongsoo. The rookies still mistake her for an ordinary civilian with a lost item. Phoenix calmly says she came looking for a leaf. Her strange description only leaves Jo Jung-wai more confused. She describes it as a flower wrapped inside a matching leaf. The rookies wonder whether the station holds anything matching her bizarre request. Phoenix ends the search by pointing directly at Gyeongsoo. She insists the missing item is already in his possession. Gyeongsoo checks his phone instead of answering her accusation. The dead signal confirms Phoenix has already jammed the station. With calls and security cameras disabled, the entire station is isolated. Ignoring her pressure, Gyeongsoo demands that Phoenix return what belongs to him. Their standoff pulls him back to the rain-soaked trials of their assassin training. A desperate young girl charges Bi-Gwang with a wooden sword. She grips the weapon with both hands and commits to the attack. Her downward swing aims directly for Bi-Gwang's neck. He watches the wooden blade approach without the slightest concern. One cold counterstrike sends the girl crashing aside. The blow folds her body and knocks the weapon loose. Her wooden sword clatters uselessly onto the flooded ground. The girl coughs beneath the rain while Bi-Gwang stands over her. Buddha steps forward and asks whether any recruit is worth keeping. His smile makes the question sound more like a death sentence. Bi-Gwang studies the failed candidates and initially answers no. The other children lie defeated around him, supporting that verdict. Buddha agrees and casually summons 2 assassins to dispose of them. The executioners appear as the children realize the trial is over. One terrified girl understands exactly what their arrival means. Buddha prepares to enforce the judgment without hesitation. Bi-Gwang freezes before the children are taken away. His attention returns to the girl who kept fighting. He reluctantly suggests that more training might make her useful. Buddha grips his shoulders and warns that pity has no place here. Bi-Gwang absorbs the lesson in silence as the killing begins. The assassins force poison into every child Buddha has rejected. Unable to stop them, Bi-Gwang shuts his eyes against the screams. When he looks again, one battered girl is still moving. She uses the wooden sword to drag herself upright. Trembling, she begs for time to train and become useful. Buddha towers over the only child stubborn enough to survive. He offers his hand while answering her plea with calculated cruelty. Buddha tells her to die and return useful in another life. His assassins seize the sobbing girl before she can resist. They clamp her mouth and force the remaining poison down. The emptied bowl leaves no reasonable chance of survival. By dusk, Buddha orders the rain-soaked bodies cleared away. Against every expectation, the poisoned girl still draws breath. An assassin lifts her and checks the impossible survivor. He reports that the child is somehow still alive. Even purple with poison, she refuses to die. After her recovery, Buddha surrounds her with medicine and drugs. He forces the survivor through a month of relentless doses. Each dose slowly builds the tolerance Buddha wants from her. Years later, the surviving child stands before him fully grown. Buddha rewards her endurance with a mask and a permanent role. She accepts both, becoming Phoenix, Hoguksa's addicted assassin. Back in the station, Gyeongsoo's silence drives Phoenix into a rage. She demands his attention and the return of her missing drug. Phoenix closes the distance, refusing to let him ignore her. She grabs Gyeongsoo while the rookies watch the confrontation worsen. He finally repeats her demand with deliberate contempt. Gyeongsoo claims her drug is waiting at his house. He invites Phoenix to follow him there, smiling at his own trap. Once outside, he plans to kill her before she can threaten anyone else. The rookies assume Gyeongsoo is inventing another excuse to leave work. Phoenix immediately calls him a liar and blocks the escape. She knows he would never keep the stolen drug at home. Hearing the word drug finally alarms the confused rookies. Phoenix reaches into her bag as killing intent fills the room. Her hand closes around the patches hidden inside. Gyeongsoo spots multiple patches just before she throws them. Phoenix attacks, but he slips aside before the first patch lands. The projectiles continue past him toward the 3 rookies. Each patch strikes an officer's face before anyone can react. The drug dazes all 3 and drops them across the station. Gyeongsoo stays composed while the rookies collapse around him. Phoenix's masked crew has already patched every other officer inside. Even the station chief lies helpless under the drug's effect. Phoenix warns that the unconscious officers will die without treatment. Their lives become leverage for the location of her missing drug. Her ultimatum gives Gyeongsoo the opening to lunge. Phoenix dodges, but his hand tears through her shirt. Gyeongsoo slides behind her with the stolen fabric in hand. A tiny signal jammer is concealed inside the torn cloth. He crushes the device before Phoenix can recover it. Phoenix stares in disbelief at her ruined shirt and broken advantage. With service restored, Gyeongsoo calls Hong Jun for backup. Since no witnesses remain conscious, he reaches for his police baton. Gyeongsoo advances, treating the isolated station as ideal assassination ground. Phoenix steadies herself as their private confrontation finally begins. He tests the baton with a hard practice swing, ready to revisit their old training. Phoenix questions Gyeongsoo, but he calmly says he can read her intentions. His confidence leaves Phoenix wondering what he means. Gyeongsoo taps his baton, promising to make the coming fight unforgettable. Phoenix laughs and mocks him for threatening an already battered woman. Gyeongsoo cuts her off by lunging with the baton. Phoenix ducks, but he has already anticipated the evasive move. His counter catches her before she can recover. The impact sends Phoenix staggering and knocks her paper bag away. She steadies herself and checks where the blow landed. Her fingertips return smeared with blood. The sight turns Phoenix's surprise into open fury. Gyeongsoo calmly insults her temper, showing no concern. His composure convinces Phoenix that he is no ordinary officer. She licks the blood from her fingers and probes his background. Gyeongsoo refuses to explain himself and tells her to stop pretending calm. Phoenix studies him, suspecting he may have served in special forces. He lets her keep guessing. Phoenix abandons the questions and produces a red patch. She slaps the combat drug onto her neck. Gyeongsoo watches the transformation with undisguised disgust. Power surges through Phoenix as she promises him a new job in hell. Gyeongsoo remains unmoved by the threat. Drugged and furious, Phoenix charges with her nails aimed at his throat. His baton smashes into her face before she can reach him. Phoenix crumples under a blow the red patch cannot overcome. Gyeongsoo tells her that one patch is nowhere near enough. He drives the point home with another brutal strike. Phoenix can only absorb the punishment and shield herself. Cornered, she finally lashes back with her claws. Phoenix wipes away blood and curses him for the beating. Gyeongsoo says drugs are no substitute for properly training the body. Phoenix demands to know why he speaks as though he knows her. He answers with another riddle and prepares his next attack. His evasive answer only sharpens Phoenix's anger. Gyeongsoo sweeps the baton low toward her legs. The strike flips Phoenix off balance. She crashes onto the floor, dazed by the impact. When Phoenix looks up, the baton is already aimed at her face. Gyeongsoo pins her beneath the unmistakable threat of a killing blow. Terror replaces Phoenix's defiance as she realizes he means to finish her. He drives the baton directly into the red patch on her neck. Phoenix grabs the weapon and struggles to force it away. Gyeongsoo coldly orders her to die. For an instant, his killing intent makes Phoenix recognize Bi-Gwang. He commits to the lethal thrust before she can escape. The cheap police baton collapses instead of piercing her neck. Phoenix seizes his surprise and slaps him away. She coughs violently, desperate to reclaim her breath. As Phoenix gasps on the floor, Gyeongsoo studies the folded weapon. While his attention shifts, Phoenix launches another attack. Gyeongsoo raises his arms on instinct. He blocks her rush, but the contact leaves him trembling. A strange star-pattern patch now sits on Phoenix's forehead. Green veins spread across her face as the new drug takes hold. Gyeongsoo freezes at a patch he has never seen before. He checks his hands and finds veins rising beneath the skin. Contact through Phoenix's clothing has infected him with the new drug. Even infected, Gyeongsoo judges that Phoenix still cannot surpass him. Fear breaks through her frenzy as she demands to know his identity. Phoenix cannot understand why he remains standing. A chicken-masked lackey suddenly barges into the station. He warns Phoenix that Orchid says police backup is almost there. Gyeongsoo waves her off, unwilling to sacrifice arriving officers. He lets Phoenix leave and promises they will meet again. She stares back, unable to dismiss his resemblance to Bi-Gwang. Phoenix tears off the star patch and withdraws with her men. Her companion worries about her condition, but she ignores him. Shaken, Phoenix keeps asking why that officer reminded her of Bi-Gwang. Soon afterward, ambulances and police vehicles surround the station. Officers carry out the wounded and begin clearing the lobby. Hong Jun can scarcely believe that Gyeongsoo let Phoenix escape. The broken baton answers him directly to the face. Nearby officers flinch as Gyeongsoo openly blames his superior's useless equipment. He insists Phoenix would not have escaped if the weapon had worked. Gyeongsoo reveals both numb hands, their veins swollen by the drug. Hong Jun sees the infection and urgently calls for a doctor. Gyeongsoo concludes that Phoenix either increased the dose or created a new drug. While the doctor examines him, Gyeongsoo asks Hong Jun for a favor. Later, darkness settles over Gyeongsoo's apartment. The quiet building gives no sign of the ambush waiting inside. Gyeongsoo opens his apartment door and steps into the trap. Two chicken-masked intruders watch him enter from the shadows. They throw a poison-laced smoke bomb into the room. Smoke engulfs Gyeongsoo as the intruders drop from their hiding place. The pair expects Phoenix's drug to make him hallucinate and collapse. Instead, an armored silhouette advances through the smoke. Gyeongsoo emerges in borrowed special forces gear, complete with a gas mask and rifle. He anticipated the ambush and asked Hong Jun for equipment that actually works. With the intruders trapped, Gyeongsoo prepares to test the expensive gear. Gyeongsoo meets the apartment ambush already armored, masked, and holding borrowed tactical firepower. The chicken-masked intruders discover their target has turned the doorway into a trap. Gyeongsoo raises the weapon while the stunned men realize their supposed ambush has failed. One thug insists the intimidating gun cannot possibly be loaded. Gyeongsoo answers that theory with a rubber round. Gunfire tears through the smoke-filled apartment and batters both masked intruders. The barrage shreds their masks and leaves them unable to mount a response. Gyeongsoo keeps firing until the men collapse beneath a painful storm of rubber bullets. He lets the smoke settle over two unconscious attackers covered in red impact marks. Satisfied with Hong Jun's expensive equipment, Gyeongsoo has already tested it thoroughly. Police sirens arrive as worried neighbors begin noticing the gunfire. Officers keep the curious residents back while securing Gyeongsoo's apartment. The two attackers are restrained, though neither is waking up soon. Hong Jun studies the battered men and questions how many rounds Gyeongsoo used. Gyeongsoo dryly calls the rubber ammunition a deserved reward for bad children. Removing his helmet, he orders extra precautions before the prisoners are transported. Hong Jun presses the question he can no longer avoid: is Gyeongsoo truly Bi-Gwang? Gyeongsoo notes that Hong Jun trusted him enough to lend the tactical gear. Hong Jun admits the drug case, and this ambush leaves him almost completely convinced. Gyeongsoo immediately objects to the missing 1% of certainty. Hong Jun asks why the legendary assassin does not simply kill Buddha himself. Hong Jun explains that his final doubt comes from Gyeongsoo's failure to kill Buddha. Gyeongsoo reminds him that a policeman was the one insisting on solid evidence. Hong Jun distinguishes police procedure from what Bi-Gwang could do outside it. Buddha's public worship means killing him would only create a larger crisis. Gyeongsoo asks how the public would react if its living Buddha suddenly died. Killing Buddha alone would not destroy the criminal world around him. Hong Jun realizes Hwaguksa may be only one part of that underworld. Gyeongsoo cares less about the others than Buddha's downfall. He wants the fraud ruined in every painful and humiliating way possible. That ruin is meant to spare others from living the life Buddha forced on him. Moved by the confession, Hong Jun offers to help put Buddha behind bars. Gyeongsoo rejects the partnership. He is the one helping Hong Jun. The correction arrives with a crushing grip on the older officer's hand. Hong Jun folds over the aching hand after Gyeongsoo finally releases it. He protests that the offer was only meant as goodwill. Gyeongsoo reveals the truth. He already tried to kill Buddha, but failed against the man who trained him. At Haguksa, Buddha is already choking Phoenix for returning without the stolen drugs. Buddha seizes her by the throat and lifts her off the floor. Choking in his grip, Phoenix begs him to spare her life. Her plea meets only cold contempt from the man she fears most. He slams her down hard enough to end any thought of resistance. Phoenix reels from the impact, too frightened to fight back. Buddha stands over her and condemns her drug-fueled raid on the police station. Coughing on the floor, she can offer nothing except another apology. Her terror runs deeper than pain. Submission to Buddha has become instinct. To Phoenix, the man above her looks less like a savior than something from hell. Buddha decides her repeated failure requires a proper lesson. She looks back in panic, already desperate to escape what comes next. He watches without sympathy as she crawls toward the door. Loud laughter interrupts her retreat as two tattooed Lespedeza brothers arrive. The masked brothers enter together, openly amused by Phoenix's humiliation. Their presence confirms Buddha has summoned an audience, not help. Still kneeling, Phoenix endures their taunts while Buddha lets the spectacle continue. Cherry Blossom joins them with a fan and polished false sympathy. Phoenix realizes Buddha has called in people who already despise her. With the three assassins assembled, the temple hall becomes a tribunal. She turns back to Buddha as the purpose of the gathering becomes clear. Buddha formally opens the trial to eliminate Phoenix of November. Buddha turns from the statue while Phoenix remains on her knees, begging for mercy. Buddha opens the box while Phoenix promises to replace everything she lost. Inside lies the leaf-wrapped drug package Phoenix believed was still at the police station. Phoenix stammers in disbelief at the recovered package. Buddha names the three masked judges summoned to decide Phoenix's fate. The Lespedeza brothers condemn Phoenix for addiction and drug-fueled strength. Cherry Blossom offers sympathy with the warmth of a sharpened knife. Claiming professional loyalty, Cherry Blossom agrees that Phoenix must be punished. With every judge against her, Phoenix remains kneeling before Buddha. She accuses Buddha of arranging a trial whose verdict was never in doubt. Buddha dismisses the complaint. Remorse is apparently not part of temple policy. Cherry Blossom performs heartbreak while staying perfectly loyal to Buddha. Cherry Blossom pretends to be wounded and rushes toward Buddha for comfort. Phoenix freezes as Cherry Blossom offers Buddha the recovered gun. Buddha accepts the gun and declares that failed servants are useless to him. He raises the recovered weapon. Buddha levels the muzzle at Phoenix's head. Phoenix stares at the gun in terror, searching for a way to survive. Buddha prepares to fire while reciting his prayer. Phoenix blurts out an offer, a new drug 5 times more addictive. The offer makes Buddha pause and listen. She claims she developed the drug herself, making it difficult to trace. One brother objects that Buddha dislikes opium. Buddha lowers the gun and asks how much she can supply. The promised quantity sharpens Buddha's interest. Phoenix claims she rebuilt trafficking routes across Korea, Japan, China, and Asia. She begs for 6 months to prove she can still be useful. Buddha cuts her deadline to 3 months. Phoenix thanks him through relieved tears. At the hospital, Phoenix's drug leaves Ji Hui trapped in withdrawal. The others watch helplessly as she mumbles through withdrawal. Her gibberish needs translating before anyone understands what she wants. After her request is translated, Gyeongsoo wipes the drool away. Gyeongsoo scoffs at the rookies, treating the visit as collegial affection. The rookies are touched that he came to visit them. He says he only returned their earlier courtesy and prepares to leave. They ask about his promotion as he leaves. The rookies watch him go, unsure whether he has really changed. The scene shifts from the hospital back to police headquarters. Hong Jun receives Gyeongsoo in his office. The two sit down to discuss the seized drugs and Phoenix investigation. Hong Jun reveals that the confiscated package disappeared from forensics. Gyeongsoo absorbs the evidence that someone inside the force stole it. Hong Jun warns that a police mole smuggled the drugs out. He admits the missing drugs were meant to anchor their case. Gyeongsoo leaves the internal mole to Hong Jun and demands progress on Phoenix's people. He presses Hong Jun about the Hoguksa investigation unit. Hong Jun's admission that the unit is dead sends Gyeongsoo into a rage. Gyeongsoo erupts at the revelation. He grabs Hong Jun and demands to know how long the truth was withheld. When Hong Jun proposes a new team, Gyeongsoo objects that his rank is too low. Hong Jun invokes his Taeguk Mugunghwa authority to remove that obstacle. Gyeongsoo counters that he prefers working alone. Hong Jun insists that Gyeongsoo already admitted he needs a team. Hong Jun explains that an organization can overcome the limits of working alone. He adds that a formal team brings funding, cover, and authority. Hong Jun cannot lead it himself because too many eyes are watching him. Using his senior rank, Hong Jun reiterates the order to form a team. Gyeongsoo says he may consider it if Hong Jun asks properly. Hong Jun swallows his pride and asks him to form the team. Gyeongsoo returns to the hospital with orders to form a team. They are stunned that a sergeant has been told to assemble one. Jeong-wi asks who will join, with a rookie translating for her. Gyeongsoo names the 3 rookies as his members. One rookie seizes his shoulders and thanks him for remembering them. The others join the grateful outburst. They celebrate the recruitment as an act of loyalty between colleagues. Their gratitude continues while Gyeongsoo realizes they misunderstood him. His face darkens at the word colleagues. The rookies fall silent when he rejects that relationship. He says he needs obedient subordinates, not colleagues. The trio recoil when he calls them his slaves. Smiling, Gyeongsoo demands they call him master and invokes Hong Jun's authority until the room falls silent. Gyeongsoo reviews the reports on the rookies he has just claimed as his team. Hwang Hee-jun's record shows years of combat training and plenty of physical promise. On paper, Hee-jun looks capable, with a broad martial arts background. His written exam record exposes the weakness: 4 failures before a bare pass. Hee-jun fumbles Gyeongsoo's new title until the others remind him to say master. Gyeongsoo dismisses Hee-jun as a muscle-brained fool and turns to Lee Seong-yeon. Seong-yeon's file shows practical training in grappling, jujitsu, and judo. Gyeongsoo turns to Lee Seong-yeon's file and finds a more balanced combat record. Seong-yeon has grappling and judo training, enough to look useful until pressure arrives. The others notice Jeong-hui can finally speak clearly again, ending the exchange on Seong-yeon. Her record shows no martial arts and the police force's worst physical score. Physical testing leaves Jeong-hui collapsed at the finish line, thoroughly proving the point. Jeong-hui answers the written exam with ease, finishing ahead of every other recruit. She also places first in the interview, matching her exceptional written score. Back in the hospital, Gyeongsoo weighs her sharp mind against her complete lack of strength. Jeong-hui eagerly pledges obedience and asks Gyeongsoo to accept her onto the team. On the weekend, Gyeongsoo arrives prepared, while the rookies wonder why they were summoned. Gyeongsoo silently stretches while the rookies wait for an explanation. Hee-jun asks why they were summoned on a weekend, with Jeong-hui correcting his form of address. Gyeongsoo ignores the question and orders all 3 to start warming up. He reminds them that they are police officers before assigning himself the criminal's role. Gyeongsoo gives them 5 minutes to prepare and no room to negotiate. The rookies recoil at a 3-on-1 fight, still more worried about hurting him than themselves. Jeong-hui stops Seong-yeon before he can address Gyeongsoo casually again. Their concern costs them a minute, leaving exactly 4 to prepare. While Gyeongsoo stretches, the rookies huddle for a desperate plan. Jeong-hui calls him insane, assuming the distance keeps the insult private. Gyeongsoo hears every word and calmly demands an explanation. Once he looks away, Hee-jun asks how they are supposed to obey. Jeong-hui assigns Hee-jun the opening attack and orders Seong-yeon to tackle Gyeongsoo. Seong-yeon recoils from the tackling assignment, admitting that Gyeongsoo terrifies him. Jeong-hui orders Hee-jun to use his boxing footwork and create confusion before Seong-yeon moves. Time expires, and a shirtless Gyeongsoo settles into position for the first round. The rookies freeze as he calls them forward, their plan already looking fragile. Gyeongsoo repeats the order, making clear that hesitation will not spare them. Jeongwei sends Heejun in first, forcing their reluctant distraction into motion. Heejun approaches alone, trying to remember the footwork meant to confuse Gyeongsoo. With his mind blank, Heejun fixates on moving his feet instead of attacking. He begins hopping in place, producing confusion in everyone except his opponent. Jeongwei watches the plan collapse before Heejun even closes the distance. She desperately shouts that footwork only works after he approaches the target. Gyeongsoo ends the display with one punch, smashing Heejun across the face. He stands over the failed distraction, already calling for the next attacker. Heejun lies bloodied on the ground before landing a single meaningful strike. Jeongwei and Seong-yoon stare at the result, suddenly reconsidering their assigned roles. Jeongwei points Sung-yun forward, leaving him no room to hide from the plan. Seong-yun panics before moving, shouting that he cannot face Gyeongsoo. His terror overwhelms the grappling skills that looked useful on paper. He abandons the tackle and runs, choosing distance over duty. Gyeongsoo catches him immediately and condemns any officer who turns his back on a criminal. One brutal punch ends Seong-yoon's escape and sends him crashing down. Jeongwei watches her second teammate fall, knowing she is now alone. Gyeongsoo turns toward her, carrying the same lesson to its final student. As he closes in, Jeongwei raises her hands and begs for a pause. He catches her face between his hands, ending any hope of retreat. Jeongwei asks whether he truly intends to strike a woman. Gyeongsoo reminds her that criminals do not spare officers because of gender. His slap drops Jeongwei before her plea can become an excuse. The exercise ends with all three rookies sprawled across the ground. Gyeongsoo calls their performance disgraceful for officers expected to catch criminals. Their battered faces prove none of them can catch criminals like this. He grants 10 minutes rest, orders 3 more rounds, and receives a defeated, "Yes, master." Back at police headquarters, the failed training gives way to a more urgent problem. Hong Jun eats chocolate while asking how Gyeongsoo's new team is progressing. Gyeongsoo calls the rookies useless and questions how they ever passed the police exam. Hong urges restraint, but Gyeongsoo insists their enemies are killers with skills like his. He turns to the stalled interrogation, demanding results from Phoenix's captured men. When Hong admits they will not talk, Gyeongsoo volunteers a method of his own. Inside a dark interrogation room, 2 battered prisoners wait beneath a single light. The door opens, and the prisoners turn toward the unexpected visitor. They immediately insist that no interrogation will make them talk. Gyeongsoo ignores the warning and asks how Choi Sang-mook is doing. He describes Phoenix's hulking, flower-clad lieutenant, then corrects himself from right-hand man to left. Still in shadow, he mentions another woman around Phoenix until the captives demand his identity. Stepping into the light, Gyeongsoo greets them. The interrogation resumes with Gyeongsoo looming over 2 captured syndicate men. One recognizes him as the supposedly dead Bi-Gwang, while the other refuses to believe it. The resemblance is undeniable, and Gyeongsoo calmly says they have met before. He recognizes one prisoner's scar as the work of Phoenix's high heels. Phoenix gave him those wounds after catching him smuggling drugs. The terrified men start believing the dead Bi-Gwang is sitting before them. Gyeongsoo claims Buddha ordered him to fake his death and infiltrate the police. His account of Phoenix losing the stash and storming the station leaves them speechless. With the Bi-Gwang bluff established, Gyeongsoo demands to know what Phoenix is planning. He claims the recorder is disabled, making their answer the only thing protecting Phoenix. The prisoners freeze when Gyeongsoo threatens to deal with Phoenix himself. Terrified, the men finally offer information instead of testing his patience. They blurt out that Phoenix is working on something new. Their confession becomes concrete. She is developing a new drug. He invites them to continue, knowing fear has made them cooperative. Hong Jun is stunned by reports of a drug 5 times stronger than the current product. Gyeongsoo explains that Phoenix plans to spread it through her clubs within 6 months. The report also identifies gangs prepared to handle distribution. Hong asks whether the prisoners revealed Phoenix's own location. While police prepare to target her managers, Phoenix buckles under the pressure of a 3-month deadline. Choi Sang-mook, Phoenix's distribution manager, warns that 3 months is dangerously rushed. He argues that forcing the operation forward will only create more risk. Production manager Kim Dong-cheol adds that police have already captured 2 of their men. Together, the managers urge Phoenix to ask Buddha for more time. Phoenix asks whether they will answer to Buddha if the delay gets her punished. Cornered by that threat, both managers reluctantly accept responsibility. A new voice interrupts as Phoenix's confidant, Sang-P, steps forward. She offers to take responsibility for the shortened deadline herself. Sang-pi immediately recognizes the fear-consuming Phoenix in her absence. Phoenix makes the deadline absolute, 3 months, with no excuses. She orders Sang-mook to connect every route and Dongxiel to push production as fast as possible. Her managers comply, and Phoenix turns next to Sang-pi. Before Phoenix can finish, quiet sobs replace her command. The new blue drug cooks beside them while Phoenix breaks down. Sang-pi pulls the trembling Phoenix into her arms. She tells Phoenix not to be afraid. With Sang-pi beside her, Phoenix no longer faces the crisis alone. Her confidant promises to handle everything for her. Elsewhere, Jong-hui collapses as another brutal training round ends. After their 10-minute break, Gyeongsoo orders the exhausted rookies to charge him again. Jeong-wei protests that this punishment was never part of their agreement. Gyeongsoo reminds them they promised to obey every order. She insists they join to catch criminals, not fight their own leader. Gyeongsoo asks if they truly want criminals, and all three answer yes. That answer gives him the opening he wants, so he orders them to follow. Their promised arrest begins at a sprawling abandoned warehouse. Gyeongsoo opens the door without explaining what waits inside. The rookies step inside and freeze at the sight ahead. A warehouse crew is openly sorting a large stash of drugs. Gyeongsoo calmly confirms that they found the right place. The white-haired boss stares back, just as surprised by the intrusion. The rookies turn to their master, waiting for an actual plan. Instead, he asks why they are waiting when criminals stand right in front of them. The gang finally realizes its unexpected visitors are police. Gyeongsoo answers by shoving all three rookies toward the syndicate. They hit the floor and look back at him in disbelief. The white-haired leader orders his men to get rid of them. Gyeongsoo grins and starts closing the door on his new team. He wishes them a good time, because apparently this counts as police training. Trapped before the advancing gang, the three can only curse their master. The rookies stagger back, suddenly facing more criminals than any of them expected. Hee-jun admits a group fight is new territory, while Sang-han already wants to go home. Jeong-wei steps between their panic and forces both rookies to listen. Jeong-wei cuts through the panic and refuses to let the team collapse. She reminds them that Gyeongsoo is reckless, not careless enough to leave them dead. Watching from outside, Gyeongsoo sees Jong-wei restore the rookies' focus. She promises to settle with Gyeongsoo later, then orders the rookies to start making arrests. Hee-jun hesitates, unsure how 3 rookies are supposed to charge an entire gang. With Gyeongsoo urging him forward, Hee-jun finally charges the nearest thug. The thug accepts the challenge and rushes straight at him. Hee-jun closes his eyes and braces exactly as Jong-hwa instructed. Jeong-wei and Sang-han recoil as the first hit lands. The thug follows through, driving a clean punch into Hee-jun's face. He braces himself and takes the punch squarely across the face. Another blow crashes into him while the other rookies watch in alarm. Instead of collapsing, Hee-jun begins returning the thug's punches. He drives a punch into the man's stomach and discovers his own strength. Compared with Gyeongsoo's training, the thug suddenly feels almost considerate. While Hee-jun enjoys the discovery, another thug raises a stick behind him. The stick sweeps toward Hee-jun before he can turn. Sang-han grits his teeth and finally forces himself to move. He rams the attacker and stops the ambush by sheer desperation. Clinging to the thug, Sang-han screams but refuses to let go. Outside, Gyeongsoo decides the rookies might become useful with more training. Jeong-wei cheers them on, delighted that the hopeless lesson is somehow working. Their success draws the white-haired boss away from the sidelines. Disgusted by his men's defeat, he begins stripping off his uniform. Tattooed arms exposed, the boss decides to handle the rookies himself. Hee-jun and Sang-han freeze as their hard-won courage evaporates. Gyeongsoo sees fear take control before the boss even throws a punch. The boss's killing intent leaves both rookies trapped in place. He exploits that hesitation and drives a punch into Sang-han. The full blow sends Sang-han flying across the warehouse. Sang-han hits the floor as Hee-jun stares in panic. Hee-jun's confidence disappears now that the boss stands before him. From outside, Gyeongsoo knows fear will only multiply their pain. The boss closes in while the rookies remain too shaken to resist. Jeong-wei suddenly kneels before him and offers to surrender. She promises to talk if he spares her another beating. Gyeongsoo scowls at the apparent betrayal from outside. His suspicion sharpens when Jong-wei's hand moves out of sight. Still kneeling, Jong-hui slips a taser from her pocket. She drives it into the boss's leg and turns surrender into a trap. Jeong-wei holds the charge, defiantly telling him to drop. The boss convulses under the current, furious that she fooled him. He fights through the shock and swings a vicious kick at her. Jeongwee braces for the retaliation with nowhere left to move. Gyeongsoo kicks the boss away before the retaliation can land. The boss barely processes the kick before Gyeongsoo closes the distance. Gyeongsoo follows with a brutal elbow to the chest. The finishing blow slams the boss into the floor. Jeongwee stares as Gyeongsoo ends the fight in seconds. Standing among the fallen thugs, Gyeongsoo turns the victory into another lesson. The battered rookies fall silent when he reminds them how useless they were. He orders them to collect every package of drugs and leave the thugs behind. Dragging 3 dead weights home, Gyeongsoo decides, will be punishment enough. Later, Choi Sang-mook arrives at the ruined warehouse with his masked enforcers. The defeated boss kneels and trembles as he tries to explain the police raid. Sang-mook silences the excuses by forcing the man's mouth open. The man's scream changes nothing. Sang-mook's contempt only deepens. One masked thug points Sang-mook towards something left behind. The warning snaps Sang-mook's attention across the room. He spots a single red card resting on the table. Its umbrella emblem carries Bi-Gwang's unmistakable signature. Sang-mook realizes Bi-Gwang has announced his return to the syndicate. Back at headquarters, the seized packages confirm the warehouse intelligence was accurate. Hong Jun says the ambush can proceed, and Gyeongsoo asks whether the plan is ready. Confident it is, Hong Jun calls in one of the few officers he trusts. Gyeongsoo turns toward the door as their new partner enters. He watches the newcomer approach without bothering to straighten his posture. KNP SOU Superintendent Kim Ah-young introduces herself with a formal salute. Hong Jun presents Gyeongsoo as her fellow officer and invites Ah-young to sit. Instead, Ah-young strides straight toward the senior officer who stayed seated. She seizes his chin and demands to know why he treats the office like home. Gyeongsoo brushes her hand away, claiming his injured leg excuses the disrespect. Unconvinced, Ah-young plants her boot beside him and orders him to stand. She repeats the command, refusing to let his attitude slide. He tells her to make him stand because he has no intention of moving. He dismisses rank discrimination, arguing they are all police once titles are stripped away. Furious beneath her smile, Ah-young promises to yank the brat up and teach him respect. Ah-young stares down Gyeongsoo in annoyance of his rebellion to not stand up. Hong Jun's warning comes too late. Ah-young is already committed to the fight. She steps in without hesitation, winding up a powerful strike. Gyeongsoo reads the attack before it reaches him. Ah-young whips a high kick straight toward his head. Her Brazilian kick comes fast enough to surprise even Gyeongsoo. He dodges her leg in time, denying the first clean hit. Her speed still catches him by surprise. Ah-young answers with a flurry of kicks, but he avoids them all. Missing every strike only feeds her anger. She keeps pressing while Gyeongsoo slips past each blow. With kicks failing, Ah-young prepares to close the distance. She lunges in, determined to grab him and finish the fight up close. Gyeongsoo measures her sharper grappling speed and readies his counter. Seeing her potential, he decides she could become useful to his plan. His counter lands squarely on her chin. The blow leaves Ah-young's eyes rolling back. For one awkward moment, the entire office falls silent. Dazed, Ah-young collapses against Gyeongsoo instead of beating him. He asks why the promised beating ended with her clinging to him. The taunt snaps Ah-young straight back into a rage. Humiliated, she springs up and starts swinging again. Gyeongsoo dodges every slap while praising her physical ability. Hong Jun simply eats chocolate and waits for the brawl to end. Once they settle down, Hong Jun finally returns to business. He opens the briefing by introducing Operation Phoenix on top of a paulownia tree. The target is an underground club where the syndicate's managers gather every month's final weekend. Ah-young and Gyeongsoo are assigned to lead the joint raid with their respective teams. She immediately objects, refusing to trust intelligence she cannot verify herself. Hong credits Gyeongsoo's interrogation for the report, and his smug reaction only worsens the dispute. Because her own questioning failed, Ah-young demands to hear the confession herself. The argument ends only when Hong Jun refuses another interrogation. He reveals the reason. Both captured men are already dead. Their bloodied bodies make further questioning impossible. Ah-young can barely believe what she has heard. She demands to know how 2 suspects died inside headquarters. Gyeongsoo finds the station's security failure embarrassingly predictable. Hong ends the briefing, but asks Gyeongsoo to stay behind. Excluded from the private discussion, Ah-young heads for the door. Before leaving, she warns Gyeongsoo that shooting is her specialty. With her gone, only Gyeongsoo and Hong Jun remain. He dismisses her threat as more of Ah-young's nonsense. Hong produces evidence recovered from the dead men's interrogation room. A Bi-Gwang calling card was left neatly beside their bodies. The familiar signature immediately draws Gyeongsoo's full attention. Hong presents the card and asks whether it means anything to him. The unmistakable image raises one dangerous possibility: Bi-Gwang's return. Elsewhere, Phoenix trembles while holding the same kind of calling card. Sang-mok and Dong-cheol explain that police left it at the raided warehouse. The impossible message drives Phoenix toward panic. Bi-Gwang should be dead, yet the card forces her to doubt it. A memory of Buddha's gun silences any thought of reporting the card. Unable to reconcile the threat, Phoenix clutches her head and screams. Her breakdown sends both managers scrambling for help. A thin mist fills the room as Sang-Pi intervenes. Sang-Pi settles beside Phoenix and begins calming her. Covering Phoenix's eyes, she slowly brings the panic under control. Phoenix summons Sang-mok and Dong-cheol back before her. Regaining focus, she orders them to continue the plan. Dong-cheol warns that proceeding is too dangerous now that police know so much. Phoenix answers by instructing Sang-Pi to prepare another portion for each man. At Sang-Pi's invitation, the two managers step forward to receive it. Fresh portions of Sang-Pi's refined drug wait on the table. She hands one dose to each manager. Phoenix promises the new formula feels wonderful, giving them no room to hesitate. The drug quickly twists their faces beneath bulging purple veins. Pain gives way to manic confidence as both men accept Phoenix's order to continue. Elsewhere, Gyeongsoo waits at the training ground, worried that two recruits are missing. He asks Jong-wei whether they ran off, but she says they stopped at the hospital. Gyeongsoo dismisses the missing pair as the weakest recruits, which only encourages Jong-wei. Thinking herself lucky, she eagerly asks her master for a break. Instead, Gyeongsoo grips her shoulders and says they will train alone until the others arrive. His expression turns sinister as he announces secret one-on-one special training. Jong-wei can only repeat the words, confused and thoroughly alarmed. Gyeongsoo opens the training by declaring Jong-wei physically unprepared. Jong-wei tries to defend herself, but his assessment only grows harsher. He dismisses her confidence and points out her missing combat fundamentals. Gyeongsoo warns that weakness will make her the first casualty on a mission. The prospect of real missions finally cuts through Jong-wei's confusion. His doubts fade once he recognizes her exceptional memory, including every restaurant address in the district. A colleague's complaint about Gyeongsoo immediately draws the chief's dangerous attention. Back in the present, Gyeongsoo draws a foldable baton and turns her weakness into a lesson. He warns that surviving real criminals requires confronting those weaknesses now. Approaching Jong-wei, he makes the baton her lesson in using one tool as two weapons. He explains that folded it serves like a knife, while extended it becomes a blunt weapon. Jong-wei realizes his promised personal supervision will be anything but gentle. Gyeongsoo's grin confirms that learning the lesson will hurt. A short while later, the mountain carries the results of his method. Hee-jun and Sang-han return and freeze at the scene before them. They find Jong-wei flattened beneath Gyeongsoo, who sits calmly on her back. Through tears, she confirms the training has been every bit as brutal as it looks. The stunned rookies ask what Gyeongsoo is doing to her. He invites them closer with suspiciously polite confidence. Both decide that living without the answer sounds much safer. Gyeongsoo provides the answer anyway, chasing all three through 15 days of relentless training. 15 days later, Operation Phoenix arrives under the full moon. The training ends, and Ah Young's prepared raid finally moves into action. The battered rookies report in with KNP SOU, fully uniformed and still haunted by training. Jong-wei asks what the operation involves and why KNP SOU needs their unit. The joint teams move through the forest toward the syndicate's hidden entrance. Ah Young warns Gyeongsoo that any deception will end badly for him. A call from the front confirms that the squad has reached its target. The target is a tunnel concealed inside the mountain. Two chicken-masked guards wait beside the entrance, blissfully unaware of the raid. One officer questions the masks just as a Yang decides introductions are unnecessary. She charges before either guard can properly react. The first guard barely raises his weapon before a Yang closes the distance. Her rifle and a hard kick end his resistance immediately. His partner watches the first takedown and reaches for a knife. The blade never matters once. Ah Yang turns on him. Her next kick catches the second guard before he can strike. He hits the ground as decisively as his partner. The rookies stare while Ah Yang leaves both guards unconscious. With the entrance secured, she tests her radio over the fallen guards. Ah Yang reports both guards down and formally begins the operation. He casually claims the training has fixed Jong-wei's body already. Before they advance, Ah Yang stops Gyeongsoo's local police squad. Standing over a defeated guard, she orders them to remain and watch the entrance. Jeonghui, Heejun, and Sanghan protest the sudden demotion together. Gyeongsoo calls her decision foolish, though she misunderstands why. Yang says pairing elite KNP SOU with town police was foolish from the start. Jeonghui starts to object, but Yang cuts off the local officer. Yang refuses to tolerate a local officer challenging her orders. She says the director forced their inclusion and calls them a future burden. Her contempt lands as Gyeongsoo pauses and starts to smile. He accepts the rearguard assignment because KNP SOU has volunteered to face the danger alone. Yang takes his compliance as a victory and turns her squad toward the tunnel. Yang leads KNP SOU into the tunnel, convinced Gyeongsoo's squad would only slow them down. Beyond the entrance, the squad finds stairs descending into the underground complex. After clearing the guards, Yang leads the team down toward the noise below. A steel door waits at the bottom with strange sounds carrying from behind it. KNP SOU forces the door open and descends the longer staircase inside. Yang orders everyone through as the hidden club comes into view. Deafening music fills a nightclub crowded with people moving like the dead. Bulging veins and vacant movement make the club patrons look violently altered. Yang freezes, unable to identify what she is seeing. Above the crowd, Dongkeol realizes the police have walked into the trap. He settles back and prepares to turn the club against its uninvited guests. Dongkeol clears his throat and begins an announcement for every club member. He declares that uninvited guests have entered and are trying to ruin the party. His message tells the altered crowd to capture the intruding officers. For every officer delivered, Dongkeol promises a month of unlimited treatment drugs. Yang realizes his reward has transformed the crowd into a coordinated threat. The altered clubgoers turn toward KNP SOU, ready to earn their next supply. Dongkeol smiles as desperation does the rest of his work. The mob surges forward, forcing Yang to abandon any hope of a clean infiltration. With the attackers closing in, Yang calls urgently to her squad. She orders every officer to raise their shields, beginning Operation Phoenix as the mob closes around them.